All right, welcome to the I Can Say It podcast. I'm Carl Eichen. Got a special guest here tonight. Jason's with me. He is the founder of the Anthony Volpe's fan club, Vopaholics. Did I say that right? Vopaholics on
You
Facebook.
did.
How you doing,
Yes, you did.
Jason?
Good.
Yeah, and I see based on your Facebook, you're in Jersey.
I am. I'm in northern New Jersey, in Livingston, which is probably 20 minutes from where Anthony grew up in Watchung.
Oh, okay. Well, that basically answers. I was going to ask you why start the Anthony Volpe fan club page.
It's funny. I just turned 50, so I've collected autographs about at least 45 or 46 years. And I've always had a passion for signatures. The way I sign my name, the way I print things, I've always just been, uh, I don't say, I guess, attracted to how people sign their names. And nowadays, with most young athletes or celebrities, they don't teach that in school. So, as an autograph collector, you're lucky if you get initials at this point.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can only identify it with if they add their number, which helps. But Anthony Volpe going to Del Barton, learned penmanship, and he's got one of the nicest signatures that I've ever seen. I mean, there's several, but he's got a great signature. So during COVID, I did a lot of autograph collecting through the mail. And since he was a local kid, I just kind of started following um, his career. I mean, I guess his high school career into his signing through the draft. And when I saw how he signed his name as an autograph collector and someone who's interested in signatures, I really thought he did a great job. So I just started collecting his cards, and I would send it to him. And during COVID, he was at home, and he would respond to fan mail with his full signature, Anthony Volpe, and it's a great signature. And that's really what started my interest in him. And since then, he was always very responsive, and that's how I really got into collecting Anthony, following Anthony, and then starting the Volpaholic site prior to the start of this season, probably in early March.
Yeah, I think, let me go look real quick. It looks like you got quite a bit of. Does it tell me how many people are in the group?
I
I
think
know
we're
I'm a
close to
member of the
70,
group, so.
I think we're close to 7,700.
Okay, that's pretty good, especially for a rookie like Volpe who's kind of been thrown into it this year, and
Yeah,
probably a lot of expectations for and coming into New York and playing for the Yankees. So
it is, and
I'm a big Volpe fan.
I am too. I've said it for years, just following him on social media or looking at interviews. He speaks so well and plays the part of, to me, and I'm not comparing him to Derek Jeter as far as play is concerned. I think time will tell, but from his family being so supportive, um, and his work ethic, the way he handles the media now and as a younger, I mean, from high school up until this point, he's just handled himself so well. And knowing that he grew up a Yankee fan and is now part of that tradition, he handles himself really well. And I'm impressed by Anthony Volpe, the person, as much as I'm impressed by Anthony Volpe, the athlete, and what I think he will and has to offer the Yankees and baseball in general.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. I think Judge is very similar in that way. He's very similar to Jeter in the way he carries himself. I think I feel bad for Volpe this year because I think the pressure that's put on him is so great and it is too much. I was doing the podcast with my brother a couple weeks ago, and what I told him was, I don't know how anybody could expect Volpe or even Peraza now that he's up to perform at such a high level when he's surrounded by these guys that are been in the major leagues for seasons and they're making millions of dollars, and these are the guys he's looking up to, and then they go up there and they're not performing. It's so I don't understand how people can think Volpe's going to miraculously, jump up and then all of a sudden be the star of the team. I just think it doesn't happen that way.
I agree. I think historically, wherever he's played, he's always started slow and finished strong in A, double A, and then triple A. He was kind of on fire right off the bat, and then the offseason came. So I agree with you. I don't know what expectations there are. I think that uh, he's going to exceed my expectations in the future. And I think to your point, where he grew up just the past few years idolizing, well, obviously Jeter, but Judge and the current players now to fist bump and to see them next to each other when the cameras show the dugout.
Yeah.
It's got to be an incredible feeling for him, because it is for me as a fan.
Yeah, it seems like just from the stuff you hear on social media, stuff you hear in the media itself, and when they show the camera, that Judge is kind of taking him under his wing a little bit, which I like to see. Hopefully, guiding him through how to deal with the New York media and us crazy Yankee fans, because I know we could be a little bit over. I see. For me, I don't. He's doing fine as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I never expected him to have this many home runs. I think he's feeling too much pressure, like the rest of the guys are, to so he's trying too hard when he's hitting. I'd like to see him not hit home runs, to be honest. I'd rather him just see line drives all day, get him on base, and let's steal him to third.
I agree with you. Every time he comes at bat now, I just wish that with his speed and his, I don't say smartness, just his knowledge of the game, I wish that they would let him bunt. Because he pulls the ball a lot, even though he does hit throughout the entire field. It always seems as though that third baseman, other than last night, is behind the base versus up towards the grass. And I
Yeah.
think if he showed a bunt, he can get a single all day long, get him on base, and he can do his, stealing around. It's almost like a show when he's on base, the way he hops, and it's just different. And I guess because I'm such a fan of him, he's not having a great season. We know that. And to your point, it seems as though he's got a lot of pressure. And in the future, I think as he's really exceeding my expectations at shortstop, without a doubt. His arm strength, I do
Yeah.
think that Peraza, I think in time will be the shortstop. And I've always thought that Anthony would move over to second base. Um, Not because he can't handle short. I just see him in that capacity. I'm not sure why. I mean, I would hate to see the Yankees get rid of any of their young talent, but I've always thought that it would be Peraza and Volpe up the middle, and I think that'll happen someday.
I think I agree. I actually think him going over to second, kind of like what they did with Torres. They tried Torres at short last year, and he just was a disaster. And I think not Volpe's a much better shortstop, but I think if they move him over to second, it'll take a little bit of that shortstop pressure, that Derek Jeter living up to that somebody you idolize thing, and put him over to second, take a little bit more pressure off of him, and let him just focus on getting his hits and moving around the bases. I'd like to see the Peraza Volpe middle infield. But of course, that means they would have to trade Torres, which, from what I can see today, looks like that's a possibility. I hear Miami's interested, but we'll see what happens over here in the next week.
It'll be interesting the next week for sure.
Yeah. So what's your take overall on the Yankees? Should they rebuild? Should they try to trade for like Otani or Soto, and do some patchwork like they've been doing for years, in my opinion? So what do you think? Where do you think the Yankees should do?
I think they're very talented. I think their young talent would be okay to rebuild. I've never even given that any thought yet. I just know that their farm system is strong. I do also know that they recently signed a bunch of shortstops, which to me, again, as a lead Volpaholic, I'm thinking that Anthony is long term with us. I really do. I think I can see him someday. I don't know if they would do it, but be a co-captain to Judge. I just think that he's got that personality, that baseball build within him to do that. I don't think Judge has to pass the torch. I think it can be a co-captain in the future, because I just think that's what he means so much to the team already. Not that he's the face of the franchise. I mean, obviously it's the captain Judge, but Anthony is a big deal, not only here locally. I just think he's got the making of a great baseball player, and just to see it from the start up until now, and who knows what the future brings. But getting back to what you said, I don't think we would. I don't think we should rebuild. I don't think that's the Yankee way. I think the Yankee way is to win now. So of course, I would love to see an Otani or Soto come, even a Bellinger. I don't think Bellinger is going to make the difference as much as the other two players would, but I
Yeah.
would hate to have them give up the young talent that they've had and they've worked so hard to keep and train, especially Volpe. I mean, if you trade Volpe to the Angels, if that were to ever happen, this Vopaholic's going to become an Angels fan. I mean, I'm a
Yeah,
diehard
yeah.
Yankee fan, but I'm going to support Anthony no matter where he is. And obviously, I want him to stay here. But if you get an Otani, just with his DH batting and his pitching, which is what we need, I think he's a game changer. So I think the Yankees will make a big splash within the next few days. Or I'm
Yeah,
hoping.
I don't think they'll get Otani, and the only reason I say that is Otani is a free agent at the end of this year. So if you're getting him, you're basically renting him for 2 months, and you're
Correct.
going to give up, like you said, prospects. Hopefully not current players on the roster, such as Volpe. And I also
Sure.
think where how do you? He's a DH. So then what do you do with Stanton? So it's kind of like how can you have two basic DHs on the team? I don't think Stanton's an everyday outfielder, especially once Judge comes back. So I don't. I think they're going to try to get Soto, in my opinion, put him in left field. And what I would like to see, I told my brother this yesterday when we were talking, is I would like to see them get a left fielder, maybe Soto because he's young. Maybe they're stuck with DJ. No one, they're not going to be able to trade DJ LeMahieu, so I think you put him at third. You get
Yeah, I'm okay with
Peraza,
that.
yeah, Peraza at short, Volpe at second. You got Bader in center. You got Judge in right. You're not going to get rid of Rizzo, even though he's having a horrible year. You keep him at first, and then maybe you pick up another catcher, and then I think that's it. And then you just hope that the lineup itself, the pitching roster can hold, and we get some Nestor Cortez back, and we get Severino starts to keep coming around. Same with Rodon, and we can maybe squeak into the playoffs. And I don't know. Part of me wants to sell. Part of me wants to sell and rebuild, but it is the Yankee way.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I do think, like you mentioned, I think LeMahieu at third. I mean, I love LeMahieu. I love his bat, and I love him at third. Peraza, Volpe, wherever, as long as they're up the middle, I think Rizzo will bounce back. Um, to your point, Judge in right field, Bader, left field. Yeah, I think we're struggling. It's kind of a plug and play at this moment, and catching. Obviously, I think we need something big there too. So
Yes, especially with Trevino going down. Neither one of Higgy or Trevino are not. They're in there for their defense. So, but I think we need to get a hitting catcher that maybe he can play every other game and kind of give us a boost.
And that's where you wonder with our farm system. I mean, I know they just promoted Austin Wells last week. He's pretty much best friends with Anthony. Not that that makes a difference, but I've seen him play in single A and double A. I haven't made it out to Pennsylvania yet to see triple A, but I don't know if it's too early to bring him up too, because I do believe he's got the bat. I think he's also good defensively. I'm just not sure how he would work at a major league level, but do we give him a shot instead of going after a big name? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know if they would do that because there's so many. I think it would be a good idea. I'd like to see it. I don't think they would. I think they would get too much heat in the New York media, so that would be a problem. But I don't know. I don't even know what catcher they would get, to be honest, if they tried to trade for one. So we'll
Right.
see. We'll see where that goes. But I think the farm system's strong. The only thing about the Yankee farm system is they don't really promote from within. They usually use the farm system to trade. So I think, like you said earlier, they keep getting some more and more shortstops. I think that's why they want to develop them, and then they want to have them for trade bait when they want to get a bigger player.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Cabrera leave, and possibly even Wells. He could be a trade bait as well. Maybe they
I
promoted
even
him for that reason.
I think so too. I wouldn't be surprised if we also saw Dominguez go at this point, or Trey Sweeney. I watched them both play last night, when it was Anthony Volpe bobblehead day at
Yeah, I
Sunset.
wish I had one of those. Did you get one of those?
I did.
Oh, not even taking it out of the box, huh?
I haven't. And last year, I guess they had one at Single A for his birthday, so I was able to get this one, and then I got two of them actually. And Anthony Volpe, he signed them both for me. So hopefully this one will get signed as well. But they were saying last night it was the biggest crowd that Somerset has ever had, let alone even opening day. I mean, I was there last year when Volpe opened up for the Double A team, and that was exciting. And I thought it was a full house. I had never seen lines like I saw last night at that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
How
had.
many? About roughly how many people does the stadium hold? Do you think?
I think it's just shy of 8,000.
Because I live
It was
down here in Port St. Lucie, so the Mets spring training. This is where they do their spring training. This is where their I think it's their single A team plays out of. And when that place during spring training, that place is jammed. So I can only imagine what
yeah, it
on a
was.
Volpe.
I think it was definitely a full house, and obviously for two reasons. I think the Orioles minor league team was in, so they had Jackson Holiday, who was a
Okay.
big draw to begin with, and then matched up with Bobblehead Day, and they even served that it was bobblehead and chicken parm yesterday at the stadium.
I heard. I think Michael Kay said that during the game last night that they were
Oh, he
doing
did.
the chicken parm.
Yeah,
They got, which is the ode to him having dinner at his house and chicken parm and going over his swing, and then he came back and started hitting.
it's funny how that one quote kind of changed. Even marketing. You go online now and you see shirts with, you know, Anthony Volpe and chicken parm. It's crazy, but that one season, not that one comment, kind of seemed to change at least that part of the season where he came out hot
Yeah.
right after that.
Yeah, I'm hoping good things. I think that I was happy when they made the decision coming out of spring training to promote him. Thankfully, the Yankee fans so far have given him some space. Maybe not so much on social media, maybe not so much on talk radio, but I think once they're not booing him at least, which is a good thing.
No, they're not booing him, and I hope the Yankee fans. I think he's got such potential that I think they really are giving him more than chance than we've seen them give other people. I would hate to hear that boo. I don't know what that would do to him mentally, just to not have that hometown support. But I don't think he's doing anything, even when he's slumping. I don't think he's doing anything to bring the team bad. I don't think they're losing because of Anthony Volpe not performing where he probably will end up performing. But I think they see him as maybe a future captain, maybe a future face of the Yankees, but certainly a local guy who's living his dream, and it's fun to watch that.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. Have you gone to any of the Yankee games this year?
I did. I was fortunate enough to go to. It was my first opening day.
Oh,
So
okay.
that was with Anthony's first day. I had gotten the tickets before they announced. In fact, that day I was gonna get I think a number 77 jersey because that's what he was wearing, and then he came out on opening day with number 11. Um, but they gave away a commemorative opening day ticket because nowadays you don't get tickets to go to any games. Everything's so digital.
Yeah.
So that was pretty neat to have. And then I had Anthony sign that as well. So that was pretty neat. But to see him, it was, the picture behind me, just to know that I was there for that was exciting. And I think he stole a couple bases that day after some walks. No hits, but it was certainly a good day for a Volpe fan.
Yeah, he took a little while to get going with the hitting, and then he's going to continue to do that. He's going to be up and down for the whole rest of the season, even
Yeah.
probably next season. I'm sure it's a little bit overwhelming to be, what is he, 21, 22 years old?
22 now.
Yeah, my son's 20, so I can only imagine what he's going through, and it's got to take
Right.
a real mental fortitude to be able to
It
do what
has
he's
to.
doing.
I can't
Yeah,
imagine what I was doing. Well, what I was doing at 22 was certainly nothing.
I can't talk about it on air what I was doing at 22. So
That's great.
yeah. No, I grew up in New York, so that's I've been a diehard all my life. I actually had the opportunity. It was me, my two brothers, and my son. We got to see. We were at Derek Jeter's 3,000th hit game. So that's. I've been a diehard Yankee fan all my life, and I live and breathe and die by the Yankees. Actually, you should see my mom. My mother is almost 76 years old, and if you would need a bleeper if you saw her watching Yankee games, because she's a very quiet woman, except when she watches the Yankees. She will curse at the TV and
Yeah.
curse at the players. She did not like Hicks when he was around. Did not like Gallo.
Yeah, I can understand that. It's funny you had mentioned Jeter. I mean, I was the same. The way that I am with Volpe now was the way that I was with Jeter. I was writing Jeter when he was in the minor leagues, and he responded and knew me by name. And it was a great run for Jeter, and I never thought that I'd have another favorite like I did Derek Jeter. But this kid has certainly taken New York by storm, and certainly has won me over. That's for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I'm hoping that the whole team, as a whole, can turn it around as we got some tough games coming up. We got what is it, Baltimore this weekend, then we play Houston, and so it's going to be a tough road, I think. But we'll see what happens because we have the first is Monday or Tuesday, so something's going to happen
right?
here in the next 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, yeah. It'll be interesting with the Yankees. You never know what's going to happen. What you're going to hear, reading the paper tomorrow morning. I'm not sure when I go to bed tonight how the team's going to be changed tomorrow. Even I'm not sure.
Yeah, well,
It's boring tonight without baseball, though. That's for sure.
yeah, it is, but it gives me a chance to kind of catch up because I always spend. I'm happy that the new rules are in place because it does make the game only 2.5 to 2 hours and 45 minutes, so I don't kill 3-4 hours every night watching the Yankees
You're right.
play.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually don't mind the day off. Hopefully, it gives the players themselves a chance to kind of figure something out before they get into Baltimore. Hopefully, Judge comes back tomorrow.
Yeah,
That's part of the rumor,
that's what
so
I've heard,
we'll see.
right? At least one day this weekend, you read or hear so many things, but it'd be nice to see him in the lineup tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about was just your whole Vopieholics. I think it's a really cool story, especially since you've been following them since high school. That's
Yeah.
really cool. I'm assuming you've met him in person.
I have met him in person. Whenever I saw him in single A and double A, he was always kind to me. I took a picture, a selfie with him. Um, I'm, but I became more friendly with his family. His dad and I text quite often. I've been to their home, and
Wow,
they're
that's great.
very they're. I can't say that they're in our group, but they know about our group, and a lot of their families in our group. And what makes the Vopaholics group a little different is, I want positivity for Anthony. I don't know if he'll ever see our page. Who knows? I know he knows of it. But if he ever does go on it, I want him to know that it's all about positivity. Uh, before we can, before you can really join the group, there's a couple questions, and one of the questions is that if you make any comments, they need to be positive. And some people can't commit to that, and
Not
unfortunately,
because they're Yankees fans. That's tough.
I have to, not that Anthony's perfect, and I just I want to hear the good, and I want the family to see the good, and I want the fans. And I'll tell you honestly, I get messages every day from some Vopaholics who just thank me for creating a safe page where they don't have to read the nonsense. And if people do slip one bias, I mean, I really do view every comment with a friend of mine who is also an admin of the page. And I try to keep it 100% positive. If someone does sneak by, there will be another member who will send me a message and ask for that comment to be reviewed. And most of the time I do take it off because, again, I want it to be 100% positive. I don't want anything negative. There's too much negative all over the place. I want people
Yeah,
to come
for
here
sure.
and just have nothing but positivity to say about our favorite shortstop.
There you go. Well, I can't call him my favorite shortstop yet. I'm still a Jeter diehard, but he's growing on me for
I'm with
sure.
you too. My favorite current shortstop.
There you go. That's better. Currently playing shortstop.
That's
Probably going to be my favorite currently playing second baseman at some point in the near future.
I would
But
agree with you.
I think he's a definite positive addition to the Yankees. I was really happy when they did that, and yeah, absolutely.
It's very refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on and telling everybody about the Vopaholics. Hopefully, you'll get more people that'll go on to the page. Once I edit this up, I'll cut it into little pieces too and put it all over Facebook and other social media. Maybe you'll get more of the Volpe fans out there creating more of that positivity. Hopefully, he can feel that over some of the negativity, and it
I
can
appreciate
inspire
it.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
problem at
We
all.
welcome everybody. As long as you're a fan, keep it positive. We're the page for you. That's for sure.
Sounds good. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for the time.
No problem. Have a good night.
You too. Thanks.